Hey everyone, I have the honour and the delight of the company of Cassandra French this evening.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, nice to join me here in Leicester Square. Unfortunately, we can't do video because I'm a complete pleb.
Don't put yourself down, Chris. Let me do that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. Yeah, technical issues, but no, it's a nice. I think it's quite a nice ambience here, isn't it? It's
Lovely.
Yeah, a few buskers and a silly tap dancers just started about 5 minutes before we started to sit down and speak. Cool. So yeah, no, they'll brought you on to obviously chat about you and projects you've gone doing this year, what you're going to get up to, and inspirations and things like that. So, first of all, you are a woman in London.
Well,
that's a really spoiler.
Nothing wrong with your eyes.
So you may throw me now. Sarcasm coming back. So, why an actress and a writer?
I've always wanted to act. I have no idea where it comes from. I grew up in a small town, Market Harborough, drove everyone mad, telling them I was going to be an actress. Got a local drama group set up in my hometown when I was about 9. There wasn't the internet then, so I used to have to send off to dodgy adverts in the stage, you know, sending a picture photocopied. It's not like now where you can send emails. And I just persevered and persevered. But I did a couple of commercials and stuff in my 20s, and then for about 9 years I've not had any work at all, and you start having to reevaluate, even though you never want to give up. Mm-hmm. And then the last 18 months has been a dream, really. It's been amazing.
Fantastic. What kind of inspired you as you were going on with your acting? Because obviously everyone has their own door.
I used to watch the schools programmes with Kathy Burke. She used to be on there with this lovely buxom blonde girl, and they used to have these little drama-y programmes, sort of guiding, you know, people about bullying and stuff, and it just blew my socks off. And then seeing independent cinema over the years, you know, your Shane Meadows and Neil by Mouth and all kinds of these pretty British movies, and it just made my heart yearn for that kind of storytelling.
Fantastic. That's really good. I mean, I remember the story, the little films we had in school as well. I can't remember Kathy Burke ones. I might be too old for that.
Maybe too young.
No, I'm a lot older. I remember Chucky and stuff.
Chucky.
Remember Chucky?
The series Chucky.
Scared the living shit out of me.
I forgot about that, and I had a flashback. I think about a couple of years ago. Did I remember? Was it real or did I dream it? What a fantastic series that was.
It really was, with that little float of neon floating triangle, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was some really brave TV and film in that era that got overlooked, I think, you know, and I think the grittiness did start. I mean, that was for children, obviously, and was quite dark. I mean, what was it, the little boy that had the alien talking to him? Yeah,
that's him, yeah.
And he got taken away into a mental institution.
Yeah, and it was like Tubular Bells music type thing.
That's just perfect for me. Dark, gritty, and a bit, I loved it.
And there was the other one we saw in school as well. Guys, you just threw me back there, so when you said that was the one with there's a little blonde kid and a little blonde girl. It wasn't Chucky, but they were just really, I don't know if they were twins.
I don't know that.
And they were like aliens.
Schools programs where the little boy played on the train tracks.
Yeah.
And he used to show these really terrifying things. And this little boy played with his friends on the train tracks, and then a train hit him. Yeah. And the ending scene was him in bed. He had his feet cut off. And his dad said goodnight to him or something. And as he shut the bedroom door, the boy's football boots were hanging up on the door as a sort of star reminder that he'll never play football again. Now he's got no feet. I think I now know why I'm quite warped as an adult, because I was spent that kind of great film, great storytelling.
Yeah, definitely. Like so. I mean, that's that, and then then as you got older, it was Blackadder and Monty Python and that. So you know, everything. Minds are completely warped.
Complete with Rowan Atkinson's Black.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. That's where my humour comes from. So if you see
I got that. Slightly crass, witty.
That and growing up on Carry On films, Monty Python, Blackadder. So I've obviously toned some of it down because it doesn't relate very well in today.
Get away with it now.
Oh God, no, they wouldn't
get away with you wouldn't get only Fulton horses today.
No, I saw that the other day. Was Marlene, wasn't it? She was saying that. She said Del Boy would be just classed as an old, old pervert.
Yeah, I think we are. I think there's a lot of rubbish out there now, and there's a lot of people that think they can make films, and the distribution companies now. There's a lot of. I mean, I've been very lucky. I've been working with Proportion Productions and Champ Dog Films, and they do some great stuff that goes out on DVD. But I think there's. Again, it's a minefield. A lot of people are making stuff, and I think anybody that gets anything made and edited and even slightly out there deserves a medal, because it really is really hard work.
Oh, it is, definitely.
You know, God loves the triers. But Champ Dog Films are really good, and Proportion Productions, what they've done in the last 2 years, and the amount of films that they've brought out for the DVD market, has been phenomenal.
Fantastic. Are there any kind of actors that really you'd love to work with?
Oh, there's loads. I mean, Tom.
How long we got? Yeah, Tom. Neil, that one's for you.
Neil Ward. Obviously, I'd love to act with Nearly. There's lots of actors. I mean, I was very lucky. I went to the Childline Ball the other week with Fab Santino.
Okay.
He was in Hollyoaks, but he's doing really good films at the moment that are coming out next year. And I was with Lorraine Stanley, who is one of my idols from London to Brighton, and it was lovely to finally get to meet her. There's a great talent out there now. It really is, lots and lots of really good talent, and there's lots of mediums as well for people to get their films shown now. You know, film festivals now are huge, and all this stuff. So I think if you can get it written, you can get it cast, you can get it made, you can get it edited. You know. Yeah, brilliant.
No, you're right. I mean, I think there's a lot more, especially for films and independent films and things. There's a lot more, like I said before, with the internet. You didn't have the internet and social media, but now you've got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. There's loads more outlets for them. They're not just limited, and they've got DVD. You can go DVD, video on demand. There's loads of stuff.
Yeah, and look at the way TV series is now. I mean, as an actor before, years ago, you wouldn't go into TV as an actor, and now the quality of TV series is, your box sets and things. I think it's a very exciting time for film and television, and especially for Britain now, a British film industry. There's a wide variety of things, and lots of different ways to watch things.
Yeah.
A lot of people now, they're saying the cinema's dying out. Well, it's so expensive.
It is,
and you can sit at home and have probably the same quality without someone rustling their popcorn.
Yeah, or going on their mobile phone, which infuriates me lately.
Oh, I've just put my mobile phone away.
Mine's still it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. In the cinema, it's like, because it is something. Me and the family, we go, it's like 30 quid for the tickets. Then you got to pay for food and stuff. And I just sit there and I glare at people. I mean, there's someone sits
in the dark. Yeah, they're really frightened.
They are. They can feel those eyes piercing them. Yeah. I actually sit there and also kick seats as well.
It's a knife in the back. You've got to stop doing.
Yeah. That's not a good bit. But someone sits there and what? I mean, what was it? Star. I think it was Rogue One. I sat there and someone just kept putting their phone, not even dimmed the screen. So it was like a really bright screen right in front of me, constantly ruining the dark atmosphere. So
yeah, that's antisocial.
They kept getting a slap in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's quite antisocial. They put popcorn at them. But I mean, years ago with cinema, you would only be able to see the film if you went to the cinema.
Yeah.
And there would be the big community of that. Nowadays with the internet and stuff, you know what's going on in the film even before you've been.
I know, yeah.
You can download it legally, not that I advocate that. But you can watch trailers, you can read up, you can critic. So again, all this technology, it can be quite brutal if you're not putting out quality stuff.
Exactly. I mean, there's a film recently as well, which I did. It was Final Score which came out.
I was in that. Yeah, that just made your jaw drop. I had a little feature scene. I don't know if I made the cut, but I know Peter Pedero really well, the stunt guy on that.
Oh, right, excellent.
He was amazing, but I know exactly what you mean. I was there when they blew up West Ham Stadium.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
But I know what you mean. I've seen the action films from that, the one in the lift, and it looked awesome.
Yeah.
But this is what sort of genres, if you're going to make a completely action film, you've got to make the greatest action film and do things that haven't been done. You've got to throw Tom Cruise out a plane, hope he breaks his neck. Yeah. To make it a bit different.
You do, yeah, definitely.
Or rely on CGI. So.
Yeah, and that one I was talking about, man, is because obviously I'd seen it in advertised for the cinema, and I didn't realise, and then I got home and it was recorded on Sky Plus because they put it out on all the different mediums at the same time. So it went out on.
That's interesting.
So it did. It released it in the cinema as well as like on Sky.
So that's what it says, that the box office takings now isn't the great big thing, the end of the world that they're judging films on. And I think that's probably, they've done that to comfort themselves, because quite some big box office films over the last couple of years ended up making zero at the box office. So it's showing times are changing. Yeah,
it is definitely, and like I say, it's a good thing as well, because more people can get their films out.
And well, people like to get home now. We're being worn out. Everyone's exhausted. And to get on the tube, drive your car, park your car, buy that popcorn that's £20 for a little box. Put up with antisocial people, like you say, on your phone. It's not the same excitement. I think if they do the big 3D films or certain films, I would want to go to the cinema.
Yeah, the IMAX ones are really good, because obviously there's these massive things.
I don't suggest taking a first date to the cinema, because you're not going to speak, really.
That's why I tell my wife.
And have a great conversation.
Don't say it to the weekends and then go to the cinema, because it's even less time that I have to speak.
And how was your marriage? Right?
17 years this year.
Really? Wow, when did you get married? When you were 5? Smooth.
Yeah.
So all this is, but I just think, like I say, storytelling is it's a wonderful way to bring people together.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever the medium, whether you're sat quietly in the cinema or at home with your box set.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and when we can binge watch box sets as well now.
I binge watch. I just finished Ozark.
Oh, have you? I need to start that. That's on my list. Is it good?
You get back to me on that. I thought it was brilliant.
Excellent. Speaking from the actors now, what's the kind of director? Which director would you love to be directed by?
Paul Andrew Williams, who did London to Brighton. I'm looking forward. I've just got the main role with Chris Michael Fretwell.
Okay.
When we're shooting that, I don't know if I can tell you the title. I signed an NDA. We're shooting that in a few months. Can't wait to work with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward as well to working with Rob Putt and Tony Longhurst next month. Robert Putt is a legend in the acting world, and so to be directed by him. Darren Cook, I'll be directed by Darren Cook, so that's going to be great. Who else is there? Paul Hills gave me my first sort of work years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He told me some interesting things. He said, when you're working with actors on set and you say action, he said that is your last chance to give them any direction before the cameras the scene. And I thought this was really interesting. He said, so if it was an action scene, you'd go action.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a romantic, loving scene, you'd go action. And I really love that. And Paul taught me a lot about the technical formula of being a director, how you deal with different actors, have different ways of working.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will do the same thing, someone will do different things, and how you sort of direct them all at the same time in the scene with all their different needs. And it really opened my eyes to the complications that can arise. And so I think Paul Hills is great. There's so many directors I want to work with. So many. Shane Meadows. I mean, I would chop your feet off to get the Shane Meadows stuff. And he brought out, England and things. And I just think any director that is that can get the best out of you, or give you the freedom and the comfort and the boundaries and the security to explore yourself, I think is fantastic.
All right, cool. And now when you say about a director, obviously directing different people, do you think actors make good directors because they know both sides, or would you
do all kinds of different things? But I think it's like anything. I think you get people and the ego comes into play. I mean, there's nothing to say if you're an actor that wouldn't actually make you a brilliant director when you learnt directing and you had experience directing, and vice versa. But I think a lot of people seem to think that being a director is, just looking down talking to the cinematographer and going, line that shot up, and I want to do this shot and I shot. And there's a lot more to it. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, you get the right people and the right chemistry, you can create magic.
Yeah.
So, There's no reason why an actor couldn't be a director or a director couldn't be an actor. But I think a lot of people start getting a bit above themselves because, you know, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's no reason why they can't complement each other, but it's not necessarily always so.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, just because you're an actor doesn't mean that you can be a director.
Well, no, you know, just because you're a surgeon a vet, doesn't mean you can perform heart surgery.
Well, yeah, very true. Exactly. It is a total. I've had a few directors on here, and TJ Scott was one who just Gotham and stuff like that.
Wow.
And he was one of my first ones. He was one of my first.
But not your last.
No, not my last.
Yeah.
And Patrick as well, obviously. Listening to
Patrick.
Yeah,
Patrick, you know, good on Patrick. He's always very kind, Patrick, and that goes a long way. And he's very kind and he's very considerate. So yeah, for me, I like, you know, people build each other up, and I think that's a lovely thing.
Yeah, symbiotic relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing. I mean, it's the same in the way you get some. Like a director for me will be a manager in my line of work and what I do, and if the way they treat you is you get more out of it. So if a director can work you, they've got to be assertive.
Yeah, there's being assertive and all that, but there's an understanding. Like I had this conversation the other day with somebody, and they were on set, and just before they went to do a scene, another actor that was in the scene said to them, "Right, don't do it like that. Do it this way, the next way." And he was saying, I said, you know what? Actors, I'm not saying people can't be helpful, but when you're working a scene, you should have the freedom that while you're rehearsing the scene on set, while you're working the scene, you are going through what you're going to do different next time, how you feel, you're getting a feel of it. Yeah. So for somebody to come in and say, hey, do it this way, it's demoralizing you and what your method is of getting there, and it's also taking your power away a little bit. Yeah. I'm not saying that you can be on set and somebody says, hey, that was great, don't do it like that. It's helpful, but I think you've got to give people a freedom and a safe place to explore in a very unrealistic environment. But if you know what I mean, you've got the makeup and all this. And I think a director that's considerate to those needs of an actor, and an actor that can have that chemistry with a director. That's why a lot of actors work with the same director over and over again, because they create a relationship. Yeah. And they know where each other stands with it, like a dance. Yeah. And I think when you can find that, and that makes the magic. Yeah,
I'm brought that up when I was doing like for the code and things, which I was, you know, when you're seeing, because a lot of them were people again, like you said, Patrick's a great guy, and because of that, a lot of people work with him over and over again, and it's exactly that.
I haven't acted for you yet, if you're listening to this. I don't know why that hasn't happened. You need to sort that out. But, so I can't tell you whether Patrick would have that with me yet, Patrick, if you're listening. And maybe I can answer that next time I come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll email him later. Tell him he's going to get what.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the message in, Patrick. Into there. Excellent. So, I mean, I've got before we talk about some of your projects as well, I've got some questions which were sent in.
I dread to think. So Neil had sent a question.
Yeah, they're not that bad. He's actually been very, very nice.
Has he? Yeah, that's not like Neil.
The first one is from Neil Erskine, and this is something else that you do as well as being an actress and a writer as well. What have you learned from comparing the main stages of the Byline festivals?
Oh, yes, Neil. Well, I was very lucky. Byline is a wonderful festival. You mentioned Monty Python earlier. Yeah. John Cleese is the patron of Byline, with Stephen Colgrave and Peter Jukes, who are very, very wonderful people. I've been friends with Stephen for over 20 years, and they put on this event for the world's journalists against fake news. Right. And it is absolutely amazing. They do it once a year down in Pippingford Park, and it's a really, really wonderful event that they do, and they get me to host the main stage. So this year we had the Vapors. Do you remember that? I'm turning Japanese, and we had Riot, and we had the Blow Monkeys, and Tom Hingley is it from Inspire Cupboard. So I get to chat and introduce them all. Yeah. So Neil, the answer to that is after the one we've just had, the Great Byline, you do make friends with tequila, because I made some really nice friends. That's what I learned, and not to drink before I go on stage, which I didn't learn last year. I was absolutely sozzled. and loud. Not loud.
Oh dear. Friendships made at the bottom of a tequila glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And Neil Ward, shouted. It's very sweet. He wrote you on Twitter, so you've not seen this, I don't think. It says, Cass, you're not only an amazing actress, you're also a brilliant writer and are getting your projects off the ground. What's the process like for writing, and how do you source your inspiration for quality writing?
First of all,
That's
Neil,
really deep for Neil, isn't it?
I'm quite touched and slightly suspicious. That's really lovely. Thanks. Well, that's
Yeah, what are you after, Neil?
I think with writing, I mean, I didn't know I was a writer. I wrote a script called Dino and Louise into the first draft in 3 weeks about 7 years ago. I'd never written anything. And Paul Hills, who we mentioned earlier, wanted to direct it, and we got Stephen Burkhoff, Mark Warren, Katie Jarvis, Francis Barber and George Russo cast in it. And we had a producer that wasn't really a producer and messed us about and cost me a few grand. And I didn't get the funding for it. But funnily enough, through meeting George, I had an idea for a film which I mentioned to George a couple of years ago. And George and Greg Hall have got Medium Cool Films.
Okay.
And they brought me on board, and we finished the script. We wrote it in a few weeks, and at the first draft, and yeah, it's going to be made next year. And if I hadn't have written Dino and Louise, that showed my writing, we wouldn't have had a chance to do this. So that's really exciting. So I'll come and tell you more about that when that's happening. But that's going to be a biggie.
All right, brilliant.
That's really exciting. So
Yeah.
I've only written 2 things, and I'm nearly finished the third one called The Well, which I want to get finished by Christmas. So with writing, I think everybody says I want to be a writer. I've certainly never said that, which is so funny because it's so amazing when you get in the zone. And I think when you can sit there and you literally, George described it as we jump into a world together and we watch this world. And it is like being a voyeur. And when you are writing, which I've never written with anyone before, when you're writing with someone, George is just genius. And you both can see the characters in the scene together. It is like being a little, when you're little and you're playing sort of cowboys and Indians or something. It really is that freeing. So if you want to write, the best thing to do is do what I did: buy a notepad, big one, buy a pen, and just write. Don't worry about the finished product. Don't worry about where it's going. Just think about the characters you're writing and the conversations they're having and what their needs and wants. There's a story in all of us. And don't think too much about all the hard work of the finished product. It's a big mountain. Take little steps.
That's great, because I say we were chatting before, so that's great advice for me as well, because I've started out writing.
Yes, and you're writing a book about your life. You
I started, what you said about in the zone, because I can't write anymore, because I've hit the mental block.
But you say that, but I'll tell you what happens is, all of a sudden, sorry for talking over you, tap, 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 you get this tapping on your head. And you have to just go and open the page again. And then before you know it, you've written another 100 pages, and then you go away and you leave it. And you get on about, and it's like being a spiritualist with the dead. It literally starts haunting you.
And it doesn't stop.
And that's a wonderful process.
I think I wrote about 30,000 words in a week and a half, because I was just like, every break I had at work, and even when I was at my desk at work, sometimes probably I've been given my notice.
Well, I got already playing.
But no, you're right. You need to, because you're right. Because I found when it's in my head, even if I stay at my desk or something like that, because it's in your head, you've got to get it down.
And even if you could have an idea of, with me, I've only written 2.5 things. One really got made, and the other one, well, it still could get made actually, but the other one is getting made. And you start with a character, and you just need to, you'll know when that character's right, whether it's you're writing about or whether it's totally made up. And you just start thinking about the character. And what happens is, it's like being in a bit like being in a relationship. This person starts becoming real and popping in your head, and you can sort of see the way they speak, and you start thinking about their life. And it really is just like the most weird and magical thing. I couldn't write to order. If you said to me, look, we're writing this, I want you to write that. I haven't done it yet, but I don't think I could do it. But these 2 film scripts, they literally are, I'm really, really proud of them. They're really beautiful stories. They have a story to tell.
Brilliant, fantastic.
And I'm not in any of them, which is really, really annoying.
That is actually, yeah.
I should have written myself in.
No, one of the first rules of writing, right? Make sure you write yourself in.
No, I didn't. I was true to the tale, so that's going to bite me on the bum, isn't it?
That's fair enough. It's actually the same as the one I'm writing for the TV show, because I'm not going to be in that. My physical appearance does not merit being in.
Hey, we love people with 3 legs now.
Yeah, I know, yeah. No, I was going to say Jake the Peg, but that's a bit untowards because what he did.
What did he do?
Well, Farris.
Farris.
Yeah, Jake the Peg.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, we stay away from that one.
Yeah. Why didn't Jimmy Savile, Rob Harris? This conversation's going really well.
Yeah. I'll just do that bit.
Yeah, edit that.
Yeah. Cool. Right, so Dean Cork.
Okay. Hello, Dean.
He asked if you could pick an ideal role to act, what would it actually be, and what would the reason for wanting to do it be?
Well, if I was 6'2" with really big tits, I'd love to play the sexy lead in something. But unfortunately, God didn't bless me. But I'm drawn to gritty characters.
Get you back. Smooth.
It's getting smooth. I really love Stephen Murphy's film. I'm dropping here, Relentless. I played a crackhead mother in that, which basically I drank strong I can't speak, special brew. And I was nasty and I was really horrible. And I love the gritty, exploring dark. The horrible the better for me. I love to play characters. If I could have played Lorraine Stanley's character in London to Brighton, then I would never have done it as well as her. If I could have played that role, somebody that is got the world against them, or in the face of adversity, and I just think I love exploring the real gritty characters. And it's nice if you can sit there and look pretty, but just characters with depth to them, and that can give it some.
Excellent. People always laugh when I tell them what my first film role was about 2 years ago.
What was it? Was it a TV presenter, Chris?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I'm playing to type.
I know.
What was it?
I'm not a TV presenter. Maybe one day.
What is it?
I got given, it's an independent film that's out this year. It's won 25 awards, I believe, as well. Is This Now? By Joe Scott.
Wait. Yes, that rings a bell.
It's got John Altman in it. It's got Sabrina Dickens.
John Altman was Nasty Nick.
Yeah, Nasty Nick.
I used to drink with him many, many years ago. He is a lovely, lovely.
Yeah,
lovely
I've never met him, but I know people who said worked on him.
He really is lovely. And who else is in it?
Sabrina Dickens.
I don't know her. Sorry.
And I can't remember the other names of the other people.
Oh, that's exciting. So
that was great. It was a friend of the. Filmed locally where I was in Real, and I went there. I was given a few pages of script, dialogue.
Yeah.
So independent film. There's me. I've got a couple of scenes with dialogue, which is fantastic. I just wasn't given the whole script, so I didn't realise until I actually got there. And they turned around and said, "Hopefully, what happens to me at the end?" And I was like, "Really? Why?" And they said, "You don't know." And I was like, "No, why?" I said, "You're a pedophile." I was like, "Oh." But thankfully, because of the script, the scenes I was in, I didn't have to do anything like that.
You know what's great is that because you didn't know that, you probably gave a real better performance.
Yeah, because
it
wasn't in the back of my mind thinking I'm God's character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was an office manager. That's what it's a bit loud.
Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
That out.
I'm not sure actually. I keep asking. There is a version of it out on DVD at the moment, so I'm looking to try and get hold of that. So that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, that was the one who was like, I spent 2 hours on a cold floor. So people glorify acting and say, "Oh, it's amazing." It's not, because I mean, I've
done 17 films in the last year, and there's only 3 of them I had makeup on. The rest of them I was in some field or something, no makeup, tired.
Yeah.
Some we didn't rehearse, some didn't have a script. They're all coming out on DVD next year, but you know what? I'll give it a go. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what they're there for, you know.
You're going to learn.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because I mean I was there for 12 hours. I was told I was going to be there for 3. And I was there from 10 in the morning till like 10 at night, and from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. at night, I was on a cold concrete floor, hands behind my back, screaming.
Questioning your life choices.
Yeah, questioning my life. Yeah. Actually, I was sitting there with a big grin on my face, thinking, "This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. Not pedophile, obviously. This is what I want to be."
Yeah, not trying to raise any children. Just, sorry.
No, but I was watching how it was made, like you say, because it's an art form.
The first time I was on a film set was a film called This Year's Love, and I was an extra. And Jamie Foreman got me up to be a feature in it, and it was with David Gray and Kathy Barr.
Right.
And I couldn't even move my mouth. I was so scared.
Yeah.
And seeing the big camera and all the lights and the mega, and you just know it's you know, people know when their passion becomes reality.
Yeah.
And, you're very lucky if you get that experience, but that's when the hard work just starts. Then.
Exactly. I mean,
that's the beginning of a curse more than a blessing in this business.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I used to say that's all I did was just sit there. They all kept saying, "You're bored." Yeah, I know it's really boring. I was like, "I'm not bored." I said, "I'm watching how the cinematography is working. I'm watching how your sounds are working." Yeah, it was amazing. It was fantastic. So Benny Viril.
Oh, Benny.
Who came out night last night. What advice could you give to anyone in the industry who's new on how to better themselves and be successful?
I think you've got to get in and do as many things as you can. I think you've got to get a show reel cut. So I think you've got to work with as many people, and hopefully they'll employ you again and again and again. And you've got to get on set, and you've got to get out your comfort zone, and you've got to clip together any little bits you've got where you're talking coherently or listening intensively. Is that the right word? Intensively, listening intently, and try and just build up. I've been very lucky in the last 18 months. I've been offered many roles, and I took every one I could do. Now I'm going more to the paid work now, only because it's nearly bankrupted me.
Yeah.
Weeks and weeks on set, and things. But some of the stuff that I've done is I'm not saying my acting's great, but the quality of the stuff, it'll be fantastic for the new show reel, which will be getting wrapped out all next year. So just get out there and get yourself on film, and don't try and do something, like don't try and have Hollywood expectations. Stick to, if you've got a low budget, if you've got a small set, make it work in that environment. To tone down things. If you're editing something and the sound's bad or you're not great in that, cut it out. Don't have it in just because. Be really strict with yourself on that, and give yourself a time frame. Say, right, this year I'm going to have no money, and I'm going to not be able to do all the things I want to do, and I'm not going to be able to go on holiday, and I'm just going to take up and put myself out there as much as possible. And then you do have to have a time frame where you say, after that, I have to sort of sit now on the fence and say, no, now I'm going to get proper paid work, or work with people I want to work with, or play roles that I haven't yet played. Always jump out your comfort zone. I've spent a lifetime falling flat on my face and looking like a complete idiot. I've learned to lick my wounds on that. Now I don't even feel it. So now, hopefully now I'm warming up to doing stuff that I'll be proud of. Who knows? But you've got to not be afraid of failure, and you've got to not be afraid of looking stupid, because otherwise don't bother.
Yeah. That's good for me then, because I look stupid quite a lot.
Chris.
I was going to say, don't get Hollywood as well, because you're right. You can go big. I mean, I missed out on a big opportunity. This one will make you laugh, because I wrote to James Corden. That's my goal, was to knock James Corden off his top spot. That was my long. I knew it never happened.
Good of 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
An elbow.
I know.
I'm joking.
I actually wrote to his publicist when he was over here as well, and they obviously said no. So I actually wrote back, and I was.
Yeah, but what's a letter proof? You've got to go out there. You've got to show yourself doing what he's doing and do it better than him.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or do a niche way that he's missing out of. You've got to find your niche way. Now, if you aim for James Corden and you get halfway there,
God, I'll be happy.
Higher than what you would have done sat behind a desk dreaming about it.
Exactly.
Pick yourself up that you're not James. I'm not you personally, but you're
I know.
Then you're an idiot. We all need things to drive us, but we have to aim. There's no chance on earth I was ever going to be put in front of any camera when I was growing up. No chance on earth. Probably less chance now when my stuff comes out. To be quite honest. But if you don't try,
Exactly.
you know, but people get worried, they're scared of looking silly or they're scared of not doing it right. Well, even if you don't do it right, you've done it. So
Exactly.
And trust me, there's 90% of stuff I don't do right.
Yeah.
But that 1%.
Oh God, that's what counts.
Makes you feel that magic.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Exactly. I mean, I took when James Corden's publicist said, no, I did write back, and I said, you've just missed a perfect opportunity. You could have had Gordon and Corden.
But his publicist probably gets a million letters like that, so you'd have to think.
Oh yeah, no, I do pass that. I know exactly. Yeah, so you've got to think of something different.
So get some stuff on video.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I'm going to plan to do for the future. It's just got very loud in here.
I know, it's getting busy.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of Leicester Square. I'm starting to get my go out and party feel on.
Exactly. And yeah, you're right. Obviously, I mean, I'll take my show for it's the same because you don't give up. That's the whole thing. It's the passion and drive.
Never give up.
No, you've got to try because
9 years. 9 years, not one audition, nothing.
Yeah,
and I started thinking, God, you know what? I've sacrificed my life for this. I'm not even very good at it. It wasn't about being this famous or uber rich or Hollywood. I just wanted to play characters in films and learn and grow. And like I said, in the last 18 months, I've done, I can't remember now, 15, 17 shorts, features, also. Yeah. But you just don't know. Yeah. There's no time frame with being an actor or a director or a writer. It's just your perception of, yourself.
Exactly. And it's like that. As I say, for mine, so I look back and I was like, because there was a time, I said when I went through that time, I was like, really, I was going to give up. It's like, I've got nowhere. I look back, it was like, in 3 years, you're now my 142nd guest.
Wow.
In 3 years.
So imagine if you'd have sat there and given up.
Exactly.
And imagine where you're going to be in 3 years' time from now. Even if you're still doing exactly this, you're still doing more than what you would have done. But you won't be. And also, you're growing all the time.
Exactly. You're learning every person. Yeah. Exactly.
I sound like I'm being a self-help coach.
Because this started out with me doing 5-minute things, doing impressions and making people laugh, and motivational talks.
Can you do?
None.
That's a long 5 minutes.
It was, just sitting there silent. Yeah. No, I do motivational talks as well because obviously I tried. That's what I did originally. It was just like
to motivate yourself, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've done how many people you've interviewed?
Yeah, 142 you are now.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice number.
Nice.
Worst numbers.
So yeah, no, I think it might be a 143 actually. I can't remember. By the way, yeah, this was good going.
That's great.
Cool. So we've alluded to it a few times now. Obviously, the last 18 months have been absolutely fantastic for you. So what can you tell me about the projects that you've done? And what's excited you most about the last?
Well, there's a great thing, Monomedia Films, I've got that right. Mark Baxter and Lee Cogswell. Who've just done Paul Weller's new video. They are an amazing team. And, I'm going to die because I can't remember the other guy's name. The other guy, not the director, what's his name? Oh, he's going to kill me. But they are fantastic what they do. And we did a film, we've done a short based on Tubby Hayes, amazing jazz player with Paul Tadman, did an amazing job playing. And I played his girlfriend. It's only a short. I'm hoping it's out next year. That was the first thing that I did, and that was fabulous.
Okay.
And then I did Steve Murphy's Relentless. He directed and wrote and starred in that. And that's got Tiffany Ellison.
Right, yeah,
Is that right? I've just forgotten. Tiffany, she's in loads of things. She's a beautiful girl, big red hair. Tiffany Ellen Robinson, is it?
I know who you mean, but I can't remember.
Amazing. And so I played her mother in that, and we had a big punch up. And that'll be out next year. And then from then, Proportion Productions and Champ Dog Films. I've done 5 or 6 different films, maybe 7 for them. They've got a new Viking film that's coming out next year. I had a great role in that. They're all going to be out on DVD. And then,
that's the Viking War, is it?
Yeah, that's the Viking War. Yeah, so that's worldwide distribution.
Wow.
So I had a bit of a dodgy scene in that. With
I saw you posted that. Yeah. Did they not show you that?
We had to have a bit of a smooch up. So basically, they said, "Are you going to be all right going topless?" And I was like, No, as long as Peter puts his hands on my breast,
Yeah.
no one else can see them. So I sort of shadily put them out and
Right.
push them up. You've got one job,
Yeah.
make them look good. And I get, so yeah, so I can't wait to see that. I thought about getting it for my dad for the horror.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a horror film.
Yeah,
No, I don't think I want my parents to watch that. So yeah, there's that, and then obviously, like I said, I'm doing Lucas and Albert with the wonderful
Yeah, so
Robert
that.
Hart and Tony Longhurst. You need to get them on here.
Well, I'll try.
They're legends.
Got a good rating.
Shooting that next month, and then there's some other stuff I've been offered as well. So obviously we're just talking and in negotiations with that at the minute.
Okay.
So it's nice. It's nice to sit here finally and have stuff that is coming out, stuff that I've done, stuff that I'm proud of. Some stuff maybe I'm not so proud of, but I'm very honoured that I was involved. And also looking to the future, that there's stuff that's like really going to be good to get my teeth stuck into coming up over the next few months in the new year. And then obviously with the film George Russo and I've just written, that's all looking good. So yeah, I think this is the first time in my life that I'm really, really lucky. I've got really, really, really good friends, and people that I've worked with have been very kind and brought me back for other stuff. And a big shout out to the Romford Film Festival as well, Joe Sultana. I was a judge for the first one the other year. Awesome. They're great. What they do is, again, a big film festival in Romford, but they're opening all kinds of things to help young independent filmmakers.
Okay.
And they've got the great cinema there in Romford as well for showing films and stuff. So I'm very lucky, actually. They've got this great support network of fellow filmmakers that are making things, all joining in together and supporting each other. And that's what's really lovely, watching producers and directors support each other. And it does help. It does help along the journey. And I've made some amazing friends for life in this industry, which is an absolute bonus. Yeah,
I agree with you on that as well. I'm going to say that, and everyone, especially the independent and the British film circuit, because I mean, I keep saying it's just little old me, but even me, as I've been welcomed so much into it, because the people are so great and they're always wanting to help and mutually support each other no matter what you do, because everyone's a part of the same industry. Everyone wants to do the same thing and they've got the same goals, and being able to help out. Like you say, you've got and in your own projects, if they've got, even if they're not involved, they can advise.
If you're holding hands and you're walking up together, it's a lot stronger than on your own.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
and also, what's great is you get to find out who the idiots are very quickly. Because I'm
screwed.
We're both screwed. Because it's such a great support network with all these people and what everyone's doing. You get to recognise the people that are the real championing through. And you watch other ones and they sort of come in like a burst of flames and out they go. So I think it's a very wonderful time for the independent film industry. And I think we're breaking away from the there was a bit of a stage where just so much trash, and there's been big lulls in the industry where it just seemed like either it was a very lovey thing, same faces over and over and over again, or tired scripts, or whatever. And then I think now it's getting a lot more interesting out there, which is exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely. It is. I mean, I love watching independent films for that, because there's the variety of film in there. It's not I mean, obviously everyone wants to be in a Hollywood blockbuster, but...
Well, do they though? Because it depends what the role is. I mean, the role is great, and if you want to aspire for that level of fame, with that comes a lot of problems as well.
There are a lot of people I've spoken to, and directors and actors, who don't want that, because
you look at
they want to
Stephen
carry
Graham and Peter Mullen and Tom Hardy and people like that. It's great they can go off and they can do the big blockbusters, but they always come back and do that little independent.
Exactly. Nicolas Cage. Look at how much independent stuff Nicolas Cage gets. He just does everything from the opening.
Didn't he end up bankrupt and have to calm down a little bit? So
probably, yeah. I know what you mean.
Listen to this.
I know what you mean, like Tom Hardy, etc. Because they do come back.
Because there is a lot more you can jump through now. Before, if you worked in TV, I mean, I know many actors. That are wonderful actors, and they were in TV soaps or they're in TV, and then when they took the jump They didn't work for years, and now they're having a renaissance.
Yeah.
But before, if you were in TV, you weren't going to get into film very easily. Whereas now, with the independent film, you can do film. Now we want to get into TV, and you can jump between the two mediums and theatre. So I think the working class actors now is the best time for them, because there has been a sort of, you know, to go to drama school. I didn't go to drama school. I couldn't afford it, you know. And to survive in London or in Manchester, you know, where you can't work properly because you've got to be available for auditions and all these things, and spotlight and, you know, show reels cut and photographs. It's expense after expense after expense. Let alone keeping your momentum up. So you end up in low-paid jobs. You end up hitting, you know, 30s and your 40s, and everyone's going, you know, oh, you're going to settle down now and get a proper job. And it's heartbreaking. But I think now it's not so clicky. You know, if you've got talent or just damn perseverance like I have, I've got talent, I've got damn perseverance. There is a chance you can, you know, push yourself. And that's, you've got to try and do it. Get one life.
Exactly. Yeah, like you say, I think the old stigma of cliquiness has gone completely.
Well, it's not gone.
It's not as much.
It doesn't have to disable you if you don't want to focus.
No, because you can focus somewhere else and make it. Like you said before, it doesn't. You know, just because you know, in Hollywood, we talked about this earlier. Just because your goal might be Hollywood, if you've made it halfway there, if you're, I mean, I see all these actors, and I aspire to every one of you guys. You all inspire me every time you come on the show, which is why it's boosted. Well, no, it's boosted me up because you do. Because I talk to you, and it just the inspiration comes through of like you guys are living your dreams, and you are, and it's hard work, and you're working. You're working.
Living your dreams, and you're like la 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 la.
No, you're working damn hard. Yeah.
But I'm saying it's about being poor. It's about everyone telling you to give up and you saying no, and it's about lying at bed at night and thinking, oh my God, why didn't I want to be a brain surgeon? That would have been so much easier. You know, why didn't I want to create, you know, nuclear fusion? I've nailed that by now. You know?
That's what happened to me when I was, because I did drama in school.
The thing is nuclear fusion.
I've got nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion, there it is. Professor Brian Cox. There you go. No, you're right, because that's what I did when I was in school. I did drama. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. And I was going to.
So you are doing it.
I am doing it now. I've come back. I've come back now because my parents. I listened to my parents because they were like, "Well, get a proper job. You need to." Which is what they say.
It's easier to listen to everybody. But Jim Carrey says a wonderful thing, and it really inspired me. And I saw it, I think, on Facebook about a year ago. And he said his father said to him, "Don't become an actor. Get a proper job. Get security." And then his father got made redundant at the age of something like 50 and ended up on the breadline. And Jim Carrey says, if you're going to fail at what you really want to do. But
he offered him $1 million. He said, I'm going to come back with my first $1 million. He did.
He wrote a check out, an imaginary check. I remember the story.
And he put it in his dad's coffin, didn't he, when he was born?
Yeah, that's really depressing now, Chris. I think if you're in it for the money or the fame, you're screwed. And just, I don't know, it's just something that, you know, I know that if I've done something and I've got something I'm going to do in this business, I know that I wake up in the morning and even, you know, my purse is empty or my jeans don't fit properly or the wrinkles are setting in, I've got a big smile on my face.
Oh yeah, you can see your eyes as well. You've got the passion in your smiling eyes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Water?
It's not really water, is it? It's just the gin.
Slancher.
Excellent. So, I mean, by the way, I'll shout Chris Guest's name out because he was asking what you're looking forward to in your projects, which we've covered anyway. He said, what are you looking most forward to working on your new projects?
I am really looking forward to, as I said earlier, Chris Michael Fretwell's new feature, and learning and growing, and that's going to be a character I've not played before, but he basically offered me the job after meeting me and said, "You are her." So I don't know if he's going to regret that choice. And I'm really looking forward to Luke's now. But I think what I'd really like to do is get a new show reel cut that's not too shabby. And then I'd really like to go where the money is, get some TV dramas and stuff next year.
Excellent.
I mean, again, that's another mountain to climb. But that's definitely and obviously do film. Films are my highs, but I'd like to get on set and do something, you know, that I can really get my teeth stuck into. So that's we've all got to have little mini goals. So that's my little mini goal, which is well, let's just see. I mean,
That's a good
I'll
goal.
probably never work again after this year, and I just had a lucky 12 months or whatever. But you got to dream big.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You're right. Michelle Lewis.
Michelle, my bestie.
She's actually just giving me a thumbs up as well because she's just had a message I sent back.
I love Michelle. I wouldn't be here without. I've got Jojo and Michelle, all the family. I've got my girl squad. Sarah Hurley. I wouldn't be here now without them. Their support. They're the girls that you know. They're your sisters. For Michelle, I love you.
Cool. Do you believe in women's intuition? That's from Michelle.
She knows. Michelle knows. Yeah, I do. I believe in human intuition because we all have it. I think that we should listen. We should be taught in schools to listen to our gut instinct and channel that. Very much so.
That's cool. I mean, her message to me made me laugh when I saw that as well. I was just be nice to me, little ball of magic.
Oh, Michelle.
That was really cute. And then, right, I'm going to ask my last question now.
Okay.
This is talking about impressions before.
Yeah. You're going to ask me if I've got an impression?
Well, we're going to see if you can do one after this. But the question, right, the reason behind this is there's a guy called Mike Quinn. He's in Star Wars. He's mean nine gnome in Star Wars. The guy.
I don't watch. I haven't seen Star Wars since Christmas 1985.
Oh good God, get out!
Yeah.
You're already out.
Sorry, we're already out.
Yeah, get in.
Throw me off the balcony now.
Mind you, I'm going to throw you off and get rid of that tap dancer.
Yeah, make sure I land on her.
Right, Muppets then, okay. He's basically worked with Jim Henson, the Muppets, for 30 years. You can't go wrong. So someone asked me this question for him, and I thought, there's such a good question. I've pretty much asked everybody who's been on the show.
I know
if you could have a Muppet created after you.
I'll be Miss Piggy. Oh, yeah. How's that?
Good God, you got a good shot on you. Yeah. I'm going to sit and cry now.
I can't do it. What is it? It's like, Kermit, I love you. I can't do it.
I actually did.
Did I give you a dead arm there?
You did actually. Yeah, you completely dead on my arm. I did this thing for. There's a girl. It's actually quite sad because a friend of mine has a teacher who's had one of her teacher friends. So Dan reached out. There's a girl. She was 16. She was turning 16, and she'd been diagnosed with terminal bone cancer. And it was really sad. They just reached out on Facebook. Does anyone know anyone famous? And so my friend then reached to me.
I would love her to have reached out. I wish I'd have seen that.
It was gorgeous.
Not that I'm famous, but I mean, I know.
Well, no, you could have done, yeah.
It's an awful thing, cancer.
It was, and for her 16th birthday, she wanted to. So I went out. I got Mr. Gibbs off Pirates of the Caribbean, Lucifer. People have been on.
Great, good for you.
I put a little compilation. I put Miss Piggy.
How is she, this girl?
I don't know. I've not heard since because I can't. Yeah, so do I. This was last year.
I did a lot of work for stem cell, trying to change the law on stem cell years ago. And stem cell, sorry to digress.
That's all right.
It's the live fluid umbilical cord stem cell. If anyone has babies, it's a teaspoon of blood out the umbilical cord. Yeah. And for a lot of these cancers now, and Parkinson's, and paralysis, and multiple sclerosis, and blindness, these little stem cells are unbelievable. And really, there should be a lot more funding into it. But obviously, cancer is a big business. But I feel sorry. 16 years old and taking on that kind of
it's really tragic. I mean, they showed It was. I was in tears when I was reading it because I was like, thought I'll do what I can. And I mean, it's not for self-glorification. I just did it. I did one little section was all I did was put a picture.
Really digressed there.
I put a picture of Miss Piggy and Kermit up because I did the impression, and it was like. And apparently the kids, because they sent me the video, the kids loved the video. You could see them in floods of tears, absolutely adored it.
Are you sure they were enduring it or just scared?
I did.
Not just movie. They got wind of you. They were all backs against the door.
When the Muppets came on, they were like, "Oh, the Muppets, that's big time." It was like,
I love the Muppets.
Piggy, hey, I'm speaking to my mic, like you can hear me from my mic. It's like, Piggy, you need it on set, Piggy. Piggy, what's the matter, Piggy? You look mad. Hey, what are you doing? I am the star of your show.
I'm so jealous. That's a really good. Everyone's
embarrassed as hell.
really good.
That's why we're speaking. I can sang Kermit. I actually sang Kermit.
Job for you.
What's the goes it? Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Kermit's little song.
Oh.
And there's Yoda as well. You see, Yoda's like.
But everyone's got Yoda. I can do Chewbacca. You do Yoda. I'll do Chewbacca. Ready? Well, I think I can.
When 900 years old, you reach look as good. You will not.
How's that?
That's really good.
They're going to kick us out now.
I used to do Tuscan Radio when I played pool at uni.
I know I did. You've gone all,
You know the
you've gone all
sound-
geeky on me now because you've taken it too far.
You're the sound people who
No, I have a life. I have a life. I have friends. I have a career.
I'm just a nerd.
I think you're okay, Chris. Now I'm worried.
Yeah.
That piggy was Kermit when you've won me on that. That's
I'm trying to think, it's Kermit and
Neil Ward. Let's give him a shout out for his
it's Tom just come there for a shout out. Yeah, you fucking.
angry.
Yeah.
No, Neil Ward, if you're listening, you do the best Tom Hardy impression.
Yeah, you do it.
That on repeat for 7 hours once at my place, and I'm still not sick of it. In fact, I was the one who kept making him do it.
Fair enough. You've also got. Can you do Donald?
No.
And Goofy. I can't do any of that. Not yet. I need to be very loud.
No, I've had the whole level. I've had your whole versatility of impressions now.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm impressed.
And you're bored now.
The piggy one. But have you got any more?
No, that's my repertoire.
You peaked.
I should both peak.
That's 2 hours ago.
Right. Before I stop this recording, is there anything you want to say to people?
I just want to say, I'm going to be a bit soppy. I just want to say thank you to all my friends, for everyone back home that sends me lovely messages, and Market Harbour, and all my friends that I've been friends with for many, many years, and new ones, and for everyone that employs me. I cannot tell you how grateful I am. Thank you.